Hello and welcome to hobby vlog number 238. Now it's been a really busy week again, but I've managed to get a fair bit done hobby-wise, a lot of it with Rosie, which is always good fun. Yesterday we went to Greece, finally managed to get back to the beach, and so we're starting another memory board, which is always going to be fun. That's right at the very end of the video. Let's get into Reaper miniatures. So last week we had a runaway winner, and the runaway winner was the Caveman pack. So I'm going to be painting up 4 miniatures this week, which is pretty cool. Don't mind about that. Thank you ever so much to everyone that voted last week. Really appreciate it. Last week I painted up, I can't remember his name, but the Dwarf warrior, there's a picture of that on screen now. That was a lot of fun, nice and easy to paint. So yeah, he's going into the collection. And next week, this is your list on screen now of what your options are to vote for. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically pick one of the miniatures that you see listed on screen. There is a list also in the description of this video, and that one has links to the Reaper website so you can see what each miniature looks like. So pick one of those, put a comment below with the name of the miniature that you want me to paint, and the one that gets the most votes will be painted next week. Next week is going to be crazy busy. I have 2 days. I fly on a Tuesday, so from the Sunday when I record this to the Tuesday or to the Monday night, literally 36 hours or so, I'm going to have to paint whatever it is you select to get it done in time. But anyway, yeah, so you put a comment below with the name of the miniature and you might be in with a chance of winning that miniature. The vote this week is going to be included in the prize draw, which will be announced next week. It actually is still another whole week left in June, so yes, I was going to do the draw this week, but there's another week left. So yeah, so you might be in with a chance of winning one of these miniatures, and that's what there is really, just encouraging me to get some hobbying done and getting involved, and it's a lot of fun. So thank you to everyone that votes, and thank you if you do vote this week. So I'll stop rambling now, let's get into the video, and I'll see you again at the end. Right, so the cycle goes on, and this week I'm going to be painting up Borin Ironbrow, Dwarf Fighter. So let's get into this box and have a look, see what we've got. Ooh, oh, I've got options. Oh my goodness, I've got options. I've got a hammer, a sword, and an axe. Oh no, what am I going to do? Which one am I going to do? That's the idea. Choices. Oh well, I've got a little bit of time to think. So the first thing I do, as always, you'll know, is I'll put this and I'll scrub this in hot soapy water, let it dry, and then stick it to the base, prime it. And in that time, I'll decide between the axe and the hammer, because he clearly doesn't have a sword. I think it might have to be the axe, to be honest. So yeah, get this cleaned up, get it assembled, primed, bring it back, show you what decision I've made, and show what it looks like before I'm going to paint him. A new project for me and Rosie to do. I've not got her involved in this yet, so I'm just planning it. But yes, what you've got here, I found this just some stock, kind of like a lion paw print. And let me read you this extract from chapter 12 of The Horse and His Boy from Narnia. Shasta in Narnia. Was it all a dream, wondered Shasta? But it couldn't have been a dream, for there in the grass before him he saw the deep, large print of the lion's front right paw. It took one's breath away to think of the weight that could make a footprint like that. But there was something more remarkable than the size about it. As soon as he looked at it, water had already filled the bottom of it. Soon it was full to the brim and then overflowing, and a little stream was running downhill past him over the grass. I read that to Rosie last week. We're reading through the Narnia stories and absolutely really having a great time, loving it. And yeah, it made me think, you know what, that would be an awesome little bit of terrain to build. So I went and looked for a paw print, found one. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this with Rosie. I'm going to ask her how big she wants it to be. She's going to be involved in all this. And then I will cut this out, stick it down onto some foam, which will have a hill on the side of a hill. Just a ridge probably like this, with this on the top and a path running next to it. And then I'll build up around it with the modelling compound, which probably I'll do because Rosie doesn't like it. And then we'll use some resin to do a puddle with a stream running down it across the hill. So that's what this is going to be, and that's going to be mine and Rosie's next project together. So yeah, I'll start this very, very soon. I'm going to get her up very shortly and get her to starter, get her to pick the size, and then we'll get the basis done, and I'll film when she's here. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. I think it's a really lovely idea, and I think it'll be quite an interesting little piece, and it could even work as a little bit of wargaming terrain, just for the fun of it, really. Quite predictably, Rosie picked the huge paw print. So what I've got here is some old insulation foam, battered and beaten up, but it'll be fine. So I'm just staring at this, trying to work out how I'm going to do this. So what I think I'm going to do is have this stuck down kind of over here and cut it out around that size. So if I get myself a pen, then I can kind of show roughly what I'm thinking. I think I'm going to have to zoom out slightly so you can get it all in shot. So I'm thinking it will be around here, and the terrain piece, it will obviously be not totally square shaped, so cut the corners off, whatever. And the terrain piece will be something like that. The paw print can go here, and then the stream and the rivulet can kind of flow off in that direction, and that's what I'm thinking about doing. So what I'm going to do first is cut this out, just use my knife to cut it out, and then glue down the paw print, and then we'll try and get Rosie involved as much as possible. She's painting on the balcony at the moment, so she is doing her own version of hobbying, just not with Daddy. Right, Rosie has joined me, and she says she wants to help. So what I'm going to do now, I've cut this out, is I'm going to bevel the edge. So you're going to help me, aren't you, Rosie? Let me show you what I'm doing. What we're doing is, you're coming along, we're just cutting the edge off like this.
Yeah. Randomly.
Randomly, yes, absolutely. There we are. So do you want to help?
Yeah.
Let me get behind you. You put your hand on my hand. And you don't cut towards yourself. You see, we're cutting away from ourselves. Never cut towards yourself, otherwise if you slip when you're cutting towards yourself, you could cut yourself, yeah? So you be very, very careful with the knife to make sure that you're being sensible. No, you're okay. Put your hand on mine.
What is this? I want to do. Oh.
You're okay. It's not something to be worried about unless you don't act very sensibly, okay? So I'm just teaching you the things to do to make sure that you don't have an accident with a knife, which is stay behind the blade, yeah? Behind the blade at all times.
Come near yourself.
I'm okay. I'm moving it around, you see? Yeah?
What's this bit?
There we are. So we've got a bevel. Okay, so we'll do that a little bit more. I'll turn the camera off because it's not a very nice sound. So we'll do that a little bit more. We'll make it nice and beveled. And then what we'll do is we'll stick this down onto it, and then we'll leave it. And then tomorrow we're going to come with modelling compound, and we're going to build up around it, okay?
Okay.
You're going to get your hands dirty, yeah?
Yeah.
You don't like getting your hands dirty, do you, love? No. Okay, what do you say to the camera?
Bye-bye.
Well, this finally dried. It took about 3 or 4 attempts for me to get the glue on, and eventually I went with lots and lots of 99% alcohol and lots of glue and just left it in the sun for 2 days. So yeah, I just didn't want to stick to the MDF, not sure why. But we have avoided warp, which is good. And what I'm doing now is I've got my house paint, my chocolat house paint, and I'm just going to slap that over the top, as you can see, to do as dirt, and then we'll do the static grass on top, and then the base will be ready, and then I'm going to start working on actually painting up Aslan himself, which seems to be a recurring theme at the moment, because Rosie's first ever miniature is being Aslan. She's loving it, and at the same time I'm painting the Aslan for the TCU challenge piece. And then of course there's this one as well. But hey, if something's worth doing, it's worth doing several times, isn't it? There we are. So we'll get this all painted over. Gonna try and leave some of the stones unpainted. And you can see, I don't know if you can, but there's bits where the sand fell off. It just didn't want to stick. It's really odd. Don't know whether the Sarissa terrain tile system has some kind of treatment on it. But yeah. So we get this painted, let it dry, and then I'll bring you back for the static grassing. And I suppose I better start priming and getting ready to paint the big beast himself. Looking forward to Rosie seeing this. I've managed to hide it from her so far, so she hasn't seen it yet. There we are, that's done. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with how this is painting up. So what we're going to do now is work on the base. So we're going to make use of Luke's Mediterranean soil base ready, because yeah, that's what I want to do. So we're just going to clean up the nozzle on the glue applicator, because it always gets clogged. Just don't seem to be able to avoid getting this clogged at all. It's really annoying. Everything works so well on this apart from, yeah, the glue. Well, the glue works well, it just is annoying. It kind of like it clogs a lot in the bottle. So this is going to take a lot of glue. It's a large base, so we're going to put some glue on and then make use of my toothpick to spread it around. That should be enough glue for the whole thing, I think. Should better pull it to cover the whole base. If we need a little bit more, I can put a little bit more in, but it's looking good. There we are. Just put a little bit more through there. So now we've got the base covered in this glue. Covered enough in this glue. What we'll do is you bring this in and then throw it on like that. It's not very scientific. However, it doesn't need to be scientific because it works. So I'll let that dry and then I'll probably put some more static grass on it, but that's going to be a good base to put a little bit more static grass around, and then it's done. Fantastic. Right, now I'm going to stick some static grass on, but I'm not going to stick it in the traditional way with the static grass applicator. I'm just going to come along, whack some normal glue on top. Watered down this is, but yeah. And then just throw the static grass on. So basically the basing material underneath will act as if I miss any or if any falls off, and it will just look it will look like grass, it'll be fine. So slap this on, slap this PVA glue over the top, like so. There we are. And then, if I zoom out a little bit to make this easier, we have our static grass box. I'm just going to kind of throw it on like so. Then shake it off. And then throw it on. As you can see, it works really well, even just applied like this. Give it a good tap. And there we have. Pretty happy with that. It's a nice base, so I just need to let that dry and then varnish it, and we're done. Alright, that's dried now. So what I'm going to do is come along with my Wallboard Scenics quick tack glue, which is really good for static grass. And I'm going to spread it around like this, and then I've got a brush that I don't mind ruining a bit. I mean, if you wash it quickly, this actually comes out okay. It's not quite as bad as Luke's quick basing stuff, which you just don't want to get anywhere near your brushes. This stuff's actually alright. We're going to spread it around, and I want it to be pretty much a good covering here, because well, this is Aslan, and he's supposed to be a he's a bringer of life, so it's spring, certainly spring when he appears in the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, or for most of the time he's there. It's the end of the White Witch's reign, but there are going to be some patches which I'm going to leave, as you can see, for where I've done the stones. So spread that around, and then I will get my spring static grass. I think this is actually Luke's that I'm using at the moment, and I really like 2mm static grass. Longer than that, and the applicator doesn't really like to play with it, which makes it a bit messy, which can be good for some effects if that's the look you're going for, but I won't be going for that look. So here is the static grass, and indeed it is Luke's 2mm static grass. I have the Warworld Scenics. I have several of their applicators actually, but the one I like the best is the original one, which they no longer sell sadly, but I do like it, I prefer it. It has a very big hopper and it gives a good charge. So we're going to put a load of static grass inside that. In the hopper it goes. Put that on, turn it on, and then untangle the cable. And here we go. Let's start applying it. So if you get down and look next to it, which is what I'm doing, you can really see the static charge having a great effect, kind of dropping trails of it on, and it's nice and stood up. There, that's a really good covering. You don't need to wait very long. You can just literally, as quickly as this, turn it over, tap it, drop it, even. Well, what I'm supposed to do, but you can drop it, and you can see that you've got a nice covering. Having dropped it, I might actually just put a little bit more on it, because that's probably knocked more off than I wanted to. So just put a little bit more, and then turn it over and tap it, and not drop it this time, please. There we are, that's a bit better. So we'll let that to dry, and then I'll come along and I'll actually spray varnish on it to keep the static grass on, and then once I've finished painting Aslan, and I have primed him now, so there he is, he's primed and ready to go downstairs to be painted, then he can be stuck on there, and we'll have a really cool Aslan diorama for the shelf. Well, I got him assembled. It was a bit of a pain actually. Trying to get that hand glued on with his axe was very hard, but of course I had to go for the axe, didn't I? You know, what's a dwarf without an axe? I was close on the hammer, but the axe won. So I'll get that down now, put that painted. Video will obviously be out on An Average Painter once that's done. And thank you to everyone that voted for this, and thank you to everyone that's voted already this week. And if you haven't, what are you waiting for? Get yourself on there and vote for what I'm going to paint next week. Because, yeah, without you voting, I don't get to pick a miniature, and I'm really enjoying cracking through these, and it's only with your help that I'm doing so. Well, there's Rosie's hand, and we're going to now take the weights off. So we've got some cardboard, and what we're going to do now is glue it down. So do you want to help with that?
Yeah.
I've got another tube which I will need to use.
I don't want to put my name.
No, you don't put your hands in it, but you can help me with squirting it out.
Oh, that's funny. I just want to watch.
You sure?
Yes.
Don't know how much glue I've got in this, so I might need to change the tube. But we'll get a bead of glue run around the outside, and I'm running out. It's running out. Right, I'm going to need to change the tube. Cool. That's it. That's it. It's done. Right. So what I'll do is I'll do the glue around the outside, a couple of squiggles in the middle, and then weight it down. But I'm not going to start the camera again. We've got to change the glue tube so that we can get a little bit more glue on there. Well, I've asked Rosie, and she's absolutely said that she does not want to get her hands dirty, so she's not going to be helping with this stage. But that's okay. So I'm going to get this done so that tomorrow there's something for us to do. And what I'm going to be doing is my modelling compound. I'm going to put the whole thing over, and I'm also going to build up around the footprint. And yeah, whether I get this all done tonight or not, I don't know. But I'm not going to film much of it because it's basically something you've seen endlessly over and over and over on this channel. And if you're not sure how to do it, go and find one of the other videos where I show you. But yeah, we're just going to build this up. But what I might do is when I come to be doing around the actual footprint, I may put the camera on then just to show that bit. But I'm going to get myself into the technique
and do a little bit of the stuff around the edges first. So I'll turn the camera back on a bit later on, maybe when I'm doing the actual footprint. But yeah, let's get this done so it can be dried, so that me and Rosie can do the hobbying together tomorrow. Right, so I've been cracking away on this, and I'm to the very end now, as you can see. So as I promised, I'm gonna pop the camera on and gonna do the building around this, which is the hardest part, of course, so why not put that on camera. It's not going to be very deep because it's just an impression that he left, but it will have a nice, put some water in it and then have the stream running off down there like I've said. So yeah, just gonna probably put some music on. I don't want to keep chattering. Put some music on, you can watch what this looks like and enjoy. And there we are. I think that looks alright. Pretty happy with that. So we'll let that dry, which will happen very, very quickly. It's drying while I'm using it. So that's already dry, and then we'll just put it down. So yeah, we'll let that dry. And then tomorrow, when Rosie gets home from school, we can do the next step, which is going to be sand, probably. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty happy with that. Nice one. I've completed another one. Pretty happy with how that looks, and I'm really pleased with the base as well, so that's really, really cool. And I have my next one to do. Look, so this one is quite damaged once again. We're once again missing one of the end pieces here. A little bit of breakage happened on the howdah, so that's going to need to be mended. But before I glue all that together, I'm going to be sensible. I'm going to paint this here before I put the before I repair and put the howdah back together. And then one big thing that's going to need to be done on this, I'm not entirely sure how well this is going to show, to be honest, but there's a big gap in the between the head and the body, so I need to do a lot of filling there and then prime and paint. It's not, I mean, I'm going to have to use milliput to fill that gap. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to work on next, and then once I've got that filled and what have you, then I'll go down and paint it, and it's not going to take too long to do that one. And then there's one more that's relatively the same in terms of damage, and then I'm going to get into the new ones that are going to be being painted entirely fresh, which is pretty exciting. So this project's going pretty well, pretty happy about it. As you'll be aware, I've been on a massive hobby slowdown recently, and it's been really frustrating me, particularly with how little I've been painting. And so what I've decided to do is come along here, grab out my Corsairs of Umbar. I've got some partial sprues here and 2 completely unopened boxes, and I think I may even have some more upstairs, and I'm going to try to get these painted up as quickly as I can, hopefully by this weekend. So right now what I'm going to do is give them a scrub, going to wash them, going to base them, going to stick them together, though mostly they're single part. There's just one here where I need to stick the this bow and arrow onto this guy here, and then I'm going to get them primed and painted, and most of it won't be on Beard Clipper, but I will be recording these for an average painter, because yeah, I want to get stuck into doing getting through some of my backlog, and I want to come out of this period of not doing very much. So yeah, so here we have 2 unopened boxes, some of the classic boxes. I went a little bit nuts, as I often do, and just was buying up Umbar. I absolutely love these models. This box is a little bit damaged, however the models inside here, something rattling, maybe I didn't. The models inside look to be in perfect condition. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of cleaning, a lot of assembling, a lot of sticking down to bases, a lot of priming, and then a lot of painting. So let's get into this, Yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy the output, and hopefully I'll have a lot of fun doing it, and it might kickstart me into a little bit more fun in Middle Earth. Right then, we've got an excited child here who is spilling sand all over the side because she's playing when she's been told not to, haven't you? Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to put some glue down on this, which is now nice and dry,
yes,
and scatter sand on it. So you need to...
kind of sand.
Yeah, the nice filtered sand that Daddy sifts. So we've got watered down PVA. I've given it a good shake, and what we're going to do is paint some...
I can't really see it.
PVA on. I know, but I'll tell you where it is. Paint some PVA on. I think we did this with black paint last time. But it doesn't matter, it'll be fine. It'll only stay where there's glue, so don't worry. So paint some PVA on, and then once we've got an area covered in PVA, then you can do your scattering of sand, and then we'll move on and we'll get the whole of this covered in sand. So there we are. That's it. Don't worry too much about making a mess. I'll tidy it up afterwards. That's it. That's it. Good girl. Cover the whole lot down here as well. So I'll watch, Rosie. Don't need more sand. Watch. You can just knock it down. Knock it down like that, and that's covered everywhere where there's glue PVA. So what we'll now do?
Yeah.
Oh, well done. Oh well, we'll get that next time. What we'll now do, Rosie, wait a second, is shake it off.
Yeah, I've got it.
And now we're going to find where the glue didn't stick. Wait for I need to put some more glue down before we do any more sand. So there's a little bit there, so you can put a little bit on there. And then we'll carry on. So we'll get this done. I'm not going to film it all. We'll get this done.
Not too much.
It's okay, no, just it'll fall off in a minute. We'll get this done and we'll bring it back when it's finished and show what it looks like. So yeah, let's get covering in sand, shall we, Roo?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to spill it on.
It's okay. It's okay. It happens.
Ready?
All right. Yeah, ready? Go for it. Very good technique. That shake is exactly how you do it. I'm very proud of you, Rosie. That is exactly how you scatter sand onto terrain. Good work. You've been watching, haven't you? You're watching and learning. Right, so now we're going to tip that off. No, don't get in the way. Don't get in the way. I need to see. There we are. There we are. You caught some. Right, so onwards. Oh, that's a lot of Corsairs. So I've assembled and primed a whole bunch. I've still got 2 sprues that I haven't yet assembled and primed, but I'm going to crack on. I'm going to take some of these down and start painting them now and just work through them over the coming days. And I'll assemble and prime these tomorrow and add them to the pile. But yeah, that's a lot of Corsairs. This is going to take me longer than I wanted it to, I think. But I'm going to get cracking. They're quite simple to paint. So I'm hoping that I can get maybe 5 or 6 of these painted tonight. And I'm going to go and do that now. And I will be filming it, like I say, for an average painter. So let's see how well it goes. I've got Borin painted, turned out quite nicely. So what I'm going to do now is do the basing. So I'm going to use a scrubland base ready, and I'm not going to do it on camera, to do it over and over again every week, but I'll get that base done, get the rim painted, and then he's finished, which is excellent work. And I'm quite excited to see who wins this week as well, though I think there's a runaway. But if you haven't voted yet, well, obviously, by the time you see this, it'll be too late for you to vote this week. But if you haven't voted for the ones in this vlog, get yourself down in those comments and leave a vote. That would be awesome. Well, this won't be on the channel much until it's done. But this is the miniature that Rosie picked for the White Witch, which is really awesome. Very proud of her, actually. I gave her a few options, and this was definitely the best one. So whether she's going to, or how well it's going to come out, I don't know, but I don't really care. I just can print another one anytime I want. And yeah, she will have fun with it. So I will show what it looks like when it is completed, when she's painted it, and maybe a couple of times during. I'm not sure how long it will take, but we're going to take our time and chill out and just have fun together painting. She seems to be really enjoying getting into this new side of the hobby. She keeps asking to do it, so yeah, pretty happy about it. Right, so the next step is black paint all over it. So we've both got a brush. What you need to do is get some water on your brush.
I did get some water.
Get some paint on your brush, and we're just going to have to paint the entirety of this black.
Including the step?
Including the footprint, yes. So yeah, Not going to worry about filming all of this because it's just going to be this. But we will do this together, won't we, love?
The sand is coming off.
Don't brush it so hard then. You're not supposed to brush the sand off, you're supposed to just put some paint over the top. And what this will do is it will seal the sand and stop it coming off, okay? Yep, so get some paint, get it nice and wet, and then drop over it and make sure you spread it all out. Okay, so yeah, we'll get this done and then do the next step tomorrow after school, yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Good. Right, I'll stop recording now. Right, so the black got done and it's all dry now. So the next thing is our dry brushes, isn't it, love? So we're going to come along, get a bit of paint on the brush, take most of it off, and then come along and dry brush over the top of the black. And you're going to do it with me, aren't you? It'll be fine. So get a little bit of paint on your brush, tap it off on the paper.
Mostly off.
Yeah, and then brush it on. And we'll get this done all over it.
Oh, that's a bit too much.
It's okay. It's okay. It can be a bit like that a little bit. Just not totally painting it on, that's all. It's not that it shouldn't be putting colour on, this maybe could be called more of an overbrush than a dry brush because we're not really drying our brushes, are we? We're just trying to avoid that. That was too much there, so I can smear that off with my finger. There we are. Right, so we get that done, and next step after this, once this is dry, is going to be static grass. Yay! Well, there we are. Got him painted up, finished, so pretty happy with that. It was a nice easy paint job, as most of them are. And yeah, I think it looks really well. So he'll go into the shelf, and now I'll be waiting to see who wins this next vote. And if you haven't voted for this vlog, then what are you waiting for? Get down in those comments and leave me a comment with the name of the one that you want me to paint in next week. And get that, get involved, and you could be in with a chance of winning one of these miniatures. So yeah, there he is. The Dwarf Warrior. Well, I've started to put my miniatures onto the shelves. You can see that we've got my Haradrim Raiders, some of them up here, and then some of the Watchers of Karna and a few other bits and pieces. Some of them some of them not painted, most of them are painted. And then my camels, a very small selection of my camels. Various other bits and pieces. It's going to take a while to do this. It's going to take a while, but I'm just going to do a little bit at a time, and I'll keep reporting back on how it's going. I've got down here next up is Bolg and Azog and the Gundabad, so I'm going to get them on next, I think. One thing I'm aware of is running out of shelves, and also making sure that I have everything organised, so I'm not like scattering Gundabad left, right and centre or what have you. The way I'm going to arrange it actually, just to say this is going to be evil and over there is going to be good, so I am going to split it like that. Anyway, I'll report back regularly on this, but yeah, it's just a case of setting them out and putting them on the shelves. Pretty cool. Don't know why I need 3 Golden Kings, but I've got 3 Golden Kings. Right, so I mixed up some Milliput, and what I'm going to do now, if I don't drop it everywhere, is come in here and start to work it into these gaps behind the head. I've been thinking about this, and one of the real benefits of doing it this way is I'm learning a lot of the what not to do's when I come to do my own one from scratch. So yeah, making sure that you glue things together in the right order and get all these gaps filled in at the right time. Gonna get myself a tool to help push that in. That one, I think. So yeah, that's been very helpful in one way, because I've got one that's completely and utterly in its package, untouched, which will probably be the last one I do. Get that assembled on its own. But yeah, getting this done is pretty cool. So I'll continue doing this, get the Milliput worked in all the places it needs to be worked in to fill any gaps I've got on this one. Let that dry and then I'll prime it and paint it, and then I'll show what it looks like when it's finished. But this shouldn't take long either once I've done this. I'm just going through putting things onto my shelves, and I'm finding a few bits and pieces like this. These are some Black Dragon Knights that I've painted up and never based. So what I'm going to do is going to make use of some of Luke's basing material. I mean, it's not that it's Luke anymore, but to me it always will be Luke. So we're just going to slap some glue on, and I always use a toothpick to move this stuff around. As I always say, it will destroy any paintbrush you put near it. So yeah, don't use a paintbrush for this step. Push the glue around, make sure you get full coverage, and then once you've got full coverage, I'm making use of the scrubland for this. What I'll do is throw it on like so, shake it off, and there we have it. So I will now do that for all of them, and then I will paint the rims, and then they can go on the shelf. And yeah, there's a few like this, so I'm just gonna do the basing as I find them. There's quite a lot unpainted as well. I'm just putting that on the shelf for now, and yeah, I will get around to getting everything painted. Maybe I'll do that as a challenge for 2025, is to go through and get everything that's unpainted on my shelves painted. We shall see. But for now, I'm just going to keep putting things out and keep doing the basing where I come across where I need to. Right then, so now we are going to do some tufts and bushes and other bits and pieces on here. Yeah, that's the paw print. It's the same size as your hand. Wow. Right, so we've got tufts. We're going to do grass tufts and a couple of flower tufts, but not too many. But first of all, we've got these bushes. So,
and these are the flower bushes.
Yeah, so we're just going to use a little bit of a hole, and I'll do these, and then we're going to push that in there. We're never going to move them. And there we are. So that's in, and then the other one you wanted was this one with the yellow flowers on, wasn't it?
Yeah, I want it here.
Well, that would be in the way of Aslan. So shall we do it here?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah. And where
you can see just how hard it is to push
Shasta?
this. Shasta? Well, Shasta was walking along this side, wasn't he?
Yeah.
There we are. So we can. Oh, it's not going in. Need to make that hole bigger. We're supposed to go into these stumps, but they don't. Right, so what we're going to do is, oh, that really doesn't go in. Come on, get in there.
Come on, Daddy, you have to do it.
There it is, it's in. Right, so what we're going to do now is we have all of these green grass tufts, and we're going to put these. We're going to put these all over the place, and then once they're in, then tomorrow or the next day we'll come back and we'll do our static grass. So, and then we're going to do some flowers as well, yes. So we'll get that done, and we'll turn the camera back on when it's done and show what it looks like. So Rosie had her way, and we got lots of lovely flowers and tufts, and you enjoyed that, didn't you, love? Yeah, so Rosie picked the flowers and we put them in together. She did some of the placing even herself, didn't you, with the tweezers? It's very cool. And we'll let that dry, and then the next step will be the static grass.
These beautiful purple flowers.
Yes, she demanded the purple ones on as well, but I'm pretty pleased with how that looks. I think it's going to look really nicely like a mountain path. So yeah, so we'll be back for the next step very shortly. What do you say to the camera?
Bye.
Bye. Just testing your hand size in an Aslan's paw print.
Yes, but look.
Yeah, I know. It's very cool, isn't it?
That makes me not put it in right.
Okay. Right, so now it's time for static grass. So I have all the 4 of the 2mm static grasses. And what we're going to do, not just yet, what we're going to do is we're going to put a path, first of all, going across here. And for that, we're going to use the dead static grass, and then put a layer on top of the autumn static grass, and then we're going to use the other grasses to build up around the outside. So that's the plan. How well it turns out, we'll find out, won't we? So Rosie is going to be in charge of spreading the glue if she stops wiping all of the water that I put on off of the brush. That water was put on for a reason and not to be spread on you.
will wash your hands later. So get a little bit of water, because this is quite thick, so you need a bit of water to encourage it to flow. So what we'll do is I'll put some blobs of glue on and you spread it out, okay? You spread it out. And you might need to keep getting water just so you can keep spreading it, okay? That's it. If it stops spreading, get some more water on your brush. That's it. Don't go too far down. Don't go too far down. You need a little bit more water. And I'll keep doing. Now do this. Just spread it around. That's it. Good girl. It's good. Keep going.
Oh.
Don't worry. Just keep going. Keep going across.
Oh,
You don't need to spread it quite so violently. You can just do that. Just encourage it around. Do you see what I mean? Yep. Right. Keep going. Doing well. That's it. That's it. Right. And now, can you reach that? Yeah. Good. We'll do this, and then we'll add a little bit more glue, and then we'll do the next one. Right, so now we're going to use the static grass applicator, and I'm going to put the glue on. So just lean back a little bit so I get in.
I need to get all the glue off the paint.
Okay.
Well, there's what's all over the flowers too.
Yeah, no, but it'll fall off, don't worry. It'll come off.
Or we just could just spread it all around the pack.
There we are. Right, so I've got that. So now, don't need to change the water. Right. So now, careful. So now what we're going to do is we're going to clean this off, and then we'll come back for the next application in a minute. Well, here's the state of play for Rosie's miniature. Of course, you can see she's painting the White Witch, but she's picking her own colours, but you can't argue with that. I'm pretty impressed with her brush control and her neatness, to be honest. I think she's doing really well. So yeah, and she's loving it. She keeps asking to do it. Sometimes when it's not convenient. Of course, soon, eventually, she'll be able to do it on her own, but she's not able to get the paint out. That's the biggest issue. But yeah, she's really enjoying herself, and I think she's doing really well. So we'll probably do a little bit more of this later today. She seems to be really into it. So yeah, pretty cool. Yesterday we had an absolutely wonderful trip down to the beach, to Fanari in Greece. Really enjoyed it, and came back with a few bits and pieces, as you can see. And I've just been and sat with Rosie. Didn't film it because yeah, didn't want to, but she's picked out, and we've selected a couple of things together of the stuff that we saved, which we're going to put onto the multi-trip memory board, which we haven't touched for 2 years. Look at that, the 12th of July 2022 and the 26th of July 2022, because last year we went to the UK, didn't get time to go to Greece, and so we missed out on 2023 entirely to Greece. But we went back yesterday. It was absolutely brilliant. We went with a friend, had a really nice time. So what I need to do now is these need to be rinsed. They're a bit smelly. We brought them back, and they smell of the sea, which is lovely, obviously, but Yeah, and I'm just going to print out the picture which will be stuck in the middle. So yeah, I'll get this done very quickly, probably get these all glued in place and get this hung back up on Rosie's wall, and hopefully we'll be back to the sea sooner than 2 years, or certainly back to Fenari for this board sooner than 2 years, and so we can get the next section filled in as well very shortly. I would like to go in a few weeks time again. I just love it over there, it's just amazing. Anyway, I'll report back once everything is ready for gluing on and show what it looks like when it is done. Downstairs I've got about I think 24 maybe that are in various stages of being painted, and I am filming most of that. These are the final batch that I've just assembled, so yeah, they're waiting to be primed, and with a quick super camera operator's pan, these are ones that have already been primed and are waiting to go down to get painted. And while I was kind of doing my display storage resorting, I realised I've got all of these, and these are arbalests. These are also Corsairs, so I'm going to get these assembled. And in here I have an amazing shield painted by the amazing Brushstroke he gave me once, so that will be appearing on one of these miniatures. But anyway, yeah, so I've got those to add into this pile of this amazing challenge or whatever to do as well. Obviously I've completely failed to get all of these painted in a week. I'm massively busy towards the end of the week, but I'm cracking on with them. So yeah, they will all get painted, and that is very, very awesome to be getting my mounting opportunity reduced. So yeah, we'll have a really nice display of Corsairs, and that'll be really fun to play with if I ever get another game of Middle-earth SBG. Well, there we are. As I say, really fun week. Got really busy towards the end of the week. Yesterday was just amazing, such a lovely day at the beach. Rosie had such fun, so did I. And but yeah, not very much hobbying got done, because when I got back I fell asleep basically. It's a long early start and long drive, but it's been such fun hobbying with her this week and doing some of my own hobbying as well, getting a bit more painting done. As I stand here, she's actually downstairs waiting for me because she wants to paint more of her white witch, which is actually red and purple at the moment. But hey, you got to let them pick their own colours, haven't you, at some point? So yeah, she's having fun with that. I'll flash up on screen now again the miniatures that are the options for the Reaper Challenge. Do pop a vote down below. It doesn't take more than a second to pick a miniature and tell me which one you want to vote, you want me to paint, and you could be in with a chance of winning. Next week will be when the prize draw is, so yeah, get involved. You can't win it if you're not in it. So yeah, thanks for watching. I will wrap up by saying, as I always do in all of my videos, if any of you are impacted directly or indirectly by the horrific wars going on both in Ukraine and in Israel, then my thoughts do go out to you and anyone you know who may be in that situation. Just shocking that's still happening. And to everyone, please do stay healthy, stay safe, and stay well.